the micro gains mentality. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Stylosa and this is Unit Lost, and I want to talk about this concept of micro gains. Now, if anybody is a fan of road cycling, and more specifically Team Sky, they have this system where they chase micro gains. What that means is they look at every aspect of what they're doing, and even if they can find a minor improvement that you think wouldn't really make much difference, they go for it. And this is one of the reasons why they are literally the best cycling team there is when it comes to road cycling. So can we apply this to Overwatch? Well, I think we can. If we look at what's happened right now, it is the end of the season. So a lot of you guys out there, in fact, on a recent video I put out, I asked you guys for your stories. I said, did you meet your goals at the end of the season? If you didn't, why didn't you think you met them? And a lot of people are very focused on achieving a certain rank, getting to a certain point. And hell, I was the same. I wanted to get into Grandmaster. Next season, I want to try and get into top 500. But what was I actually doing, and what was the difference? Like, I never really focused on my SR value. I was more focused on improving myself and taking something from each game. However, a lot of these comments I would read, and it would be people going, oh, you know, I went on a 5-game losing streak, I lost 200 SR, it was the worst thing ever. And I started thinking to myself, people are focusing way too much on SR. That is a very, very bad thing to do. Screw your rank. Honestly, just, it doesn't even matter at all. I know I say this, rank doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Stuff the rank. Don't even look at your SR. It is completely, utterly pointless. All that matters is you improving as a player. If you focus on your SR, you will tilt, I can guarantee that, and you will lose games. And then you'll take that negativity from the last game into the next game, even if you'll think to yourself, okay, that was a terrible game, I tilted, but I'm going to be fine the next game. You won't, because it's like a compound effect. It adds up and it adds up over time, and then it just explodes, and then you end up becoming the guy who tilts or trolls your entire team, and it is not great. Overwatch comp should be fun, right? You shouldn't be putting pressure on yourself to the point where if you're losing, it is the worst thing ever. You will lose games. You have to understand this. Even the best players in the world will lose games. Nobody is sitting there with like a 90% win rate unless they've done dodgy things on the ladder. I'm looking at you 6-stack Brazilian team who only plays at 3 a.m. in the morning, so you matched against platinum players. That is disgusting and it needs to be fixed. Come on, Blizz. But yeah, nobody, absolutely nobody will have perfect games. You will pretty much win as much as you'll lose, right? If you can achieve like a 60% win rate, that would be insanely high, and that's all you need to focus on. Do not focus on SR. Nobody cares about that. Focus on your win rate and your win rate with the heroes that you're playing on, because you need to be doing things to increase that win rate. And of course, the beauty of all of this is, when your win rate goes up, well, so does your SR. So if you forget about the SR, it's cool. It will just go up over time. The better you play, the more games you will naturally win. So what is this concept of micro gains? Well, it's very important that you break down what you're trying to look at, so your play or whatever you're trying to do, into small, manageable chunks, because you need a realistic goal. You cannot say to yourself, oh, I'm silver at the start of the season, I want to get into top 500. That will never happen, right? Unless you become a god, right? That is just not going to happen. That's an example of a crazy goal which skips an absolute shed load of improvement, and it's literally impossible. It'd be very much like saying, oh, I'm diamond, but I'm going to get top 500. Again, that is a very difficult thing to do. Just putting it into a simplistic sort of thing like that is never going to work. You need to break down in as much detail as you can each individual step to get yourself from diamond into top 500, and it is doable. And I honestly believe absolutely anybody can improve their play doing this, and in fact I think we all kind of subconsciously do it to some degree. But if you go into every game thinking about doing this, you will improve absolutely rapidly. It is crazy. So what things do you need to look for? Well, look at things like increasing your accuracy. Let's say you had a 40% accuracy in the previous game. That's not too bad, but you're playing McCree, so you kind of want a bit more accuracy, or you're playing Soldier 76, for example. So what I'm going to do for the next game is I'm going to try and increase my accuracy to 42%. And at the end of the game, I'm going to look at my accuracy, and oh, look, it was 38%. Why was that? What was going on? And I'm going to try and think about why that was the case. Maybe they had Genji, and I found it difficult to target the Genji. Maybe they had, or they were focusing me down, and I was getting killed pretty quick, so I didn't have much chance to sort of put the damage out. Maybe I was dying more than I should have been doing. Those are examples of minimal little sort of micro gains you can work on. Deaths is another example. Maybe I've died 10 times in the last game, so next game I only want to die 9 or 8 times, and if I manage to do that, then I am doing something right. These are manageable, like, little milestones that you can meet that don't require insane practice or insane levels of, like, mental dedication, because you can just think to yourself, right, what I need to do in this game is increase my accuracy this time and try and not die as much. And if you think like that, you will just notice yourself becoming much better. And 10 or 20 games down the line, you'll again notice that, okay, before I started doing this, I was dying 10 times. Now I'm only dying 6 or 5 times a game. That is a major improvement, because of course, best thing you can do in Overwatch is not die. It's just critical that you focus on improving your game all of the time. And the key thing there is your game. Don't worry about what other people are doing. Do not try and blame your team. This was another thing I seen in the comments section on the video where I asked if you guys had met your Season 3 goals. It would be, yeah, I was playing great, but I queued into a troll team 5 times in a row. I lost 200 SR and all of this. And it's like, yeah, sure, okay, that will happen. You will get people on your team who will throw the game. But if you start ignoring SR, suddenly it doesn't matter, because when you're in those games with those players who are throwing games, who are toxic, who are trolls, you just start thinking, okay, I'm going to use this as practice. I'm going to practice my aim. I'm going to practice my positioning. And then you take something out of the game. It's very important that you always take something out of the game. Don't go into the game and just take out negativity or take out tilt or anything like that, because it's going to make you worse when you play the next game and you're not actually improving as a player. And like I keep saying in this video, it is critical that you go into every single game with the idea in your head, I'm going to improve, I'm going to get better. Don't fall into the rut of doing the same thing every single game. Don't think, okay, I always stand in the choke here, so I'm always going to do it. Maybe you should stand back, maybe you should take a different position. Try different things, but remember, keep it simple, keep it minimal. It's all about these micro gains. There is one thing though which can make me quite frustrated. It's when you have a very close game and you just lose the game. That is very frustrating, and it is very easy to go, oh my god, if only that Reinhardt hadn't charged in there. You know, I was playing Widowmaker for some reason. I'm sitting in the back, I'm sniping, I've got 2 picks. Suddenly our Reinhardt charged in and he took their Ana off the map. You know, we were 3 men up, but because he died and he had his ultimate, we couldn't stop their respawns coming in on Volskaya, and oh my god, he cost us the game. Now maybe he did, right? But if you have been looking at your gameplay, you may have done things in that game, and I can guarantee that you have done things in that game that if you'd done better, you would have won. Because when games are so close like that, everybody on the team could have done something to make the game become a victory instead of a defeat. And it's very simple to notice what these are. But the key thing is, you have to record your gameplay. If you don't record it, then you won't be able to view it back. Now, at the moment, we don't have a replay system in Overwatch. I'm told it's being worked on, but it's not priority at the moment, so we don't know when this is going to show up. When it does, this could be absolutely beautiful, because it means you won't need all of the recording software. You won't need programs like DxTory, which is a program I use. You won't need Shadowplay. You won't have to record your console footage or anything like that to watch it back. So hopefully it will save little mini replay files that you can load back up in the game and watch from your point of view and think, what was I doing here? Maybe you could even take over the replay at those points and just sort of, you know, maybe play a little bit, and it sort of puts AI onto the enemy players or whatever. But the fact is, if you are recording your gameplay and watching it back, you will be amazed at the mistakes that you make. When I do Overanalyzed, I watch replays back of people and I comment on what they're doing, and you'll notice that I literally cannot stop talking. There is so many things they are doing in these videos which is wrong and they shouldn't be doing, that if they watch them back themselves, they would just become better players. I do this. When I did my solo queue to Grandmaster, right, I was quite rusty with DPS, and I played Soldier and McCree, but it was mainly Soldier to go all the way. This was the account that I put onto the channel, all the way from 3000 SR to Grandmaster, so into 4000 plus. The way I did that was, every time I lost a game, I would watch that replay back. Not entirely, I would watch key fights back, and I'd think, okay, what have I done here? Have I used my ultimate correctly? There'd be a lot of times where I'd be using my tac visor in completely the wrong situation. Like, I'd be using it as a reaction to something which has happened. Maybe there was a res. In fact, you've seen this in the latest Overanalyzed video, which was on Soldier, where that player was kind of doing what I was doing back a couple of weeks ago, or well, I guess a couple of months ago, where I was using my ultimate as soon as the enemy would pop a res. I think, okay, I will need to ult now. But that's not a great use of that ultimate. You need to know when to use the ultimate. And the only way to do that is to watch your replay back. And there'd be times where I'd use tac visor without nano boost, which would be crazy, especially when nano boost was available. Maybe there would be issues with my communication to the team. Maybe I'd see something but wouldn't actually shout it out. So what am I doing? Those are all mini micro gains, and you will learn from watching your replays back. As I say though, when the game does introduce a replay system, this will be easier for a lot of players, because I know it is pretty difficult to record your gameplay footage. So what do I want you guys to do for Season 4? I want you to not look at your rank. Don't even care. Like, just ignore the SR completely. It is worth nothing. Nobody cares about SR. The more interesting figure is your win percentage on the heroes that you play. And you find this by going into your account stats page and taking a look at the individual heroes in the relative competitive seasons. And you will notice there are changes in win percentage. If that goes up, then that is great. That is what you want to focus on. Do not focus on SR. I also want you to leave the game immediately when defeat comes up. Do not sit there and watch your SR. A lot of people do this. When the game is finished, they've lost, they sit there stewing away going, oh my god, how the hell did we lose? And then suddenly their ranked badge pops up on the screen and, oh, I mean, God forbid, you could actually derank or something crazy happens, but you see that number and it's much lower than it was before, and then you feel sad. Don't do that. Just leave the game immediately. As soon as the defeat screen comes up or the victory screen, press escape or whatever it is on console, probably start, I guess, I don't know, and then just leave the game and re-queue. You don't have to watch that. It's a waste of your time. Nobody cares. Remember, it's all about win percentage, and for the love of God, do not tilt and do not focus on your team members. If they're playing bad, then so what? If you notice somebody doing something terrible, yeah, sure, give them a bit of advice, but it doesn't matter what they are doing. They are pretty much around the same type of level as you, so it doesn't matter. If you belong higher in the ranks, then you will play better, and you will be able to carry the team no matter what hero you're playing, but you will only get better if you focus on micro gains. Do not look forward for insane gains like I'm going to go from bronze to top 500. It will never happen. You need to think, I'm going to go from bronze to silver. How am I going to do that? I'm going to work on my accuracy. I've got 10% accuracy as McCree, which would be terrible, by the way, so I'm going to try and get this up to 15%. Those are examples of micro gains. It literally does not matter where you are in the ladder. None of that is relevant. Nobody cares. All that matters is that you are interested in becoming a better player, and this is a surefire way of doing it, and this is how I do it, and I'm pretty sure this is how pro players do it as well. And please use a microphone, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my god. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been Stylosa. This is Unit Lost. If you have any tips or you would like to comment on this idea of micro gains or the micro gain mentality, then go crazy in the comments below. I cannot wait for Season 4, and I cannot wait to see what changes Blizzard bring out. It's going to be pretty interesting. I'll catch you on the next one, guys. You can follow me on Twitter, which is @UnitLostGaming, and I'll see you then. Toodaloo.